there, Dark Star here. We are going to do some more flight practice and maybe some training missions. Ooh, this plane looks a little beat up. But one nice thing about this plane is that it is steam gauge style. Everything we need is right here, except for a map, because we might need that. Now, I told it to spawn down here. Ah, well. I might fly to some of these other airports too. Let's see what's happening. What I want to work on today is just getting better at flying in general. Alright, let's make sure everything's working. In other news, I got my VATSIM starter license or whatever. So I'm now able to connect to VATSIM if I wanted to. I don't think there's anything going on down here in VATSIM. What do we got here? Yeah, I don't see anybody staffing anything down here. We are way at the southern tip of South America. So we're way down here. Really pretty down here. There's a bunch of little airports all in this little area right here we might play around to. Alright, so let's get it in the air. That's a good start. Come on. Oh, we got a crosswind. Alright, we got a crosswind from the right, so we want to turn our wheel into the right a little bit there, and left rudder. Maybe not too much. Kill us all here. So again, I want to turn into the wind a little bit. Be nice if I could see. There we go. So let's get back down over the runway here a little bit. Because when we take off, we really want to fly the runway heading down the runway. We don't want to be veering off to the side. So I guess let's start with a traffic pattern. So what do we have here we can use? Let's see. So we're headed just about west there. So that would be our crosswind leg. This would be our downwind leg, except really the wind is coming from the side, but that's okay because we'll be doing crosswind landing, I guess. Start slowing down. We need to really level out too here. Go ahead and get our flaps down. Okay, there we go. All right, turning base, and we can start descending a little bit. And I think I'm way off of something here. I don't know if that was my runway back there or what. Add a little power here. Turn to final. Maybe. All right, so we look pretty good. A little high technically. We're going to drop a little power out here. All right, we want to turn into the wind and then a little left rudder to kind of stay down the runway here. Out over that runway. Go. That was maybe a little much. And flaps up. All right, and again, we want to turn, we want to bank a little bit to the right and then rudder to the left. And we want to try to stay over that runway as we climb out. All right, flaps up. let's climb to 1,500 feet and try to level out. First, I want to get a little better trimmed out here. There we go. That's good. So now I'm just barely doing anything. Okay, and there's 400 feet. I mean, 1,400. And we want to level out at about 1,500. And of course, we're pushing forward on the stick, so we're going to want to trim that pressure out. We did too much. Okay, we're climbing a little bit much here. Still climbing. Let's take a little bit of power out. All right, that's looking pretty good. Ish, not really. All right, now we're going to try to do a 180, so we want to turn to about, what, 70 degrees? Let's call it 60, actually. So we want to try to bank, and we need to pull back a little bit on the stick to keep our vertical speed level, and we want to make sure we stay coordinated. We're climbing, so we let off a little pressure there. Hold that bank, trying to hold 1,500 feet. And there's 90. And there's our 60, right? So that'd be about 60 degrees. And I'm ballooning up, I don't want to do that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Climbing way too fast. We're now 200 feet above our target altitude. I was trying to turn to 90 here. And I need to get back down to 1,500 feet. One problem is my stick is, I don't know if it's the plane, because I see the stick moving. It seems to move right. The plane is not reacting very well. Maybe because I'm over speed or something. Let's try slowing down and see if we can have better control that way. So I want to stay at a heading of about 90 there. Okay, there's our... Alright. good as an autopilot. Hey viewer. Okay, we're getting off 90 here. And we've gotten a little low. Alright, let's try 180 again. So we'll turn back to the west. We want to climb about 100 feet while we do it. Not too fast. There's our 100 feet. And about 10 degrees before our target, which would be here, start rolling out. Let's go in for another touch and go. So I'm going to try and hold 1,500 feet here while we slow down. First notch of flaps. Second. And then let's start a turn. And we started dropping like a rock. Want to bring some power back in. Full flaps. I'm going to get our speed down to about 60 here. Okay. We don't want to descend any more than about 400. Well, no more than about 500 if we can avoid it. All right, there's our 60. Let's see if we can hold that. A little more power. Now at this point, you want to use power to control your descent rate more than pitch, right? Pitch for speed, we're at 60. And a little power in to slow our descent rate a little because we're getting low on profile there. Okay. Coming in a little high, so we're going to go long. From me there. The winds. Forgot about the winds. We gotta steer into the wind there. There we go. Alright, let's take back off. Flaps are up. Alright, so climbing up to 1,500 again. Hey man, thanks. Just doing a little flying practice. Oh, I missed my 1,500. There we go. Not by too much. All right, let's turn to the south. Oh, gaining too much. Scoot over to the coast and see what we can find. Should be some airports down here. Maybe not that one. That doesn't look like much of an airport. Maybe we'll scoot over to this one. This should be a bigger airport. Alright, if that's the case, we want to head about southeast-ish. Maybe a little more east than south. Oh, I'm way off my target altitude here. Okay, so let's call it that way. So about heading of 110, we're going to try to fly that across the water here and see if we can find that other airport. Well, we can hold it here. All right, we want to get down to 1,500 though. Our 110. Yeah, I'm trying to work a little more on precision. It's hard. So today's no autopilot day. All right, 1,500 ish. We're gonna try to stay near 110. See if we can't get across the ocean somewhere near that airport. And we're climbing because it is just too easy to climb and not even feel it. It's so easy to get fixated on one instrument. Like I'm trying to get my altitude sorted and keep drifting off 110. Got to keep your eyes moving. Hopefully we'll get it trimmed out here. How many hours you have to fly like this to really get good at it. So it becomes second nature. 1500-ish, probably pushing 16. 1581. Some hundreds of those is staring at the career screen trying to find missions. So they're not all in the air hours. See how we're doing. Heading right for it still. Let's get a better look at our airport here. Okay, there should be a runway we can use right across this lake. Come in just to the left of those two islands there, maybe. If we can find them. Thinking these are those islands. These ones here, maybe. Oh, here they are. It's these two here, I think. I see it now. Up here. Start getting our flaps out. Looks like there's a dead runway here and a new one over here. So I'm hoping it's this one on the right. start a descent. Up a little. Oh. Thank you. Not that elegant of a takeoff though. Those crosswinds will get you. All right, flaps up. Climb back up to 1500. All right, have a good lunch. let's pick a direction. That's about towards the other airport again. Oh, here's one down here. Let's fly down to this one. So about due south right now. And we're a little high. Far south tip of South America. Let me get around here and I'll show you again. You may have just seen it, but because there's a delay. Okay. So this is, we're down in South America, like way down here. I like to fly around Alaska though, it's a good place. And for a while I was doing Papua New Guinea. I did some New Zealand stuff. That's a good place. So today I just thought I'd practice like kind of trying to hold an altitude, hold a heading, basic flying, doing basic turns. Do so much like, you know, autopilot flying, right? Take off, get the autopilot on, fly for 8 hours. Don't really get to practice proper flying when you're doing that. So I was working on getting my VATSIM approvals. So you have to do the, like, read through all their documentation and take the quiz. I got that done yesterday. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Especially when you don't know the airfield and you're not, like, we're not really using radios much, so we don't have the weather info. I could get it, but Okay. So good little span of water here. I always find it disorienting to fly over the open ocean because you have no reference. That would be hard to do for long periods of time. Are we on real-time weather? Live weather, okay. I changed the time so that it's light out because I don't want to fly in the dark to these unlit runways, but so are you flying these days? What are you flying? I was doing some ATR 72 flights the other day. I've got the Kodiak, I like to fly it. kind of descending a little so I can hopefully, as you say, see a windsock or something. See if the head tracker will work. There we go. Why isn't that working? The position is off to the side a bit. Okay, I think I want to come in on this runway here. Okay, go away. I wish it wasn't right. I wish I would put it in random places right in the middle. Like, go up to the side or something. Okay, why is the keyboard shortcuts not working? Yeah, Control Shift Home and Control Shift In should be working, but it is not. Mouse 4? Wow, that's working. Why isn't Control Shift Home working? Huh. Well, I suppose I can do it with the mouse. No, I can't. Can't even do that. Well, what if I do this? Okay. Okay, that's flaps up. Oh, that sun's right in my eyes. Let's climb a little higher this time. Okay, 2,500. out here at 3. And then I think I want to turn north, go back to my original airport. Power out. I need to get my throttle set up closer. I have to lean over to reach it. That's north? That doesn't, that's more than 10 degrees over. So this is that landmass, so I'm gonna fly up this coast until I get over. I can go back to SCCI. So we probably want to come around then, maybe land on this runway. Right now it's saying runway 30 is recommended. Okay. That would be this one, right? Nope. That one. Okay, that's convenient. All right, let's see if we can use our little navigational aid here. there's flight plan. Okay, let's select an approach. Other way, silly. Okay. Okay, 114.1. All right, so we'll run and then runway. Nope. Runway 30's heading is about 306. Okay, that's nav 2 though. So nav 1, we also want 110, what, sorry, 1141. Click, yeah, there we go, 114. 1141 swap. And there we go. have any kind of vertical navigation guidance at all? I'm gonna guess no. Okay, so we will start our descent about 9 nautical miles out. It does have, but just this kind. Okay, it's 11 nautical miles. Pull a little bit of power out and just let it descend. Coming up on 7 nautical miles, at least from the FF30 point. this is showing we're a little bit off to the left, just a little bit. So make a little correction to the right. Start pulling up rather than adding power back in, because I want to slow down a little bit also. Further and further off here. We can see on the map too that I'm pointed a little bit off to the side still. Let's just get back on our course here. Oops, I don't mean to be climbing. I did want to level out. Now I want to get a little more power out and start really slowing down. like we're getting really low, but we're supposed to still be at 600 feet, but that doesn't look like 600 feet. What's the altitude of this airport? 125. I don't know, that's something's weird. My altimeter is off, no wonder. Yeah, that felt kind of low. Yeah, we're a little off to the left here also. Alright, let's get some flaps in. Go away. car thinks it's wanting me to go here. You sent me over here. Park over here next to this other smaller plane. Santiago. There's lots of fun places to play around in up here, all through the mountains. I work with a guy who's in Lima. And of course, the Caribbeans are always fun. You know, you got not those ones. Where these ones, yeah, down here. Like Princess Juliana, Saba, and St. Bart's. I don't even know what all these are. But I tend to do a lot of flights around in here just because it's a really pretty area. One thing I was thinking about doing next was some of the training ones, maybe. See if I can better my scores. I completed IFR navigation, so maybe we should try and do better on takeoff and landing. Whoops. I don't think... Did it lose my settings? No, toggle, toggle, toggle. These should all be toggle, not on or off. For exactly this reason. Oh, I know what it is. There we go. There's the mags. And then, looks like the mags, they go left, right, or other way. No, well, that's how they're labeled here. Let's see if hit tracker will work. If I lean over a little, I guess. Maybe I could slide the camera. I need to get a sticky. Okay, look right. Hi, gotta give us credit. One more setting we need to set. Sound, character voices.
Rounded to the nearest 10 degrees. For example, a runway orientated towards the north would be numbered 36, which is 360 degrees on a compass. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21.
Okay, parking brake is not on.
Let's position the plane for takeoff.
I'm working on it. I don't know what runway they said to use though. Oh, maybe it's just this one?
Excellent. All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go. Use your rudder to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
Okay, airspeed's alive. There's 40. 50.
Good.
55.
Now, gently pull back on the yoke. And we're airborne. Line at the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to remove the left yaw plane has when climbing. You can see your current yaw input by looking at the MFD slip skid indicator.
If you don't know where that is, it's right here. So like if I push hard, you can see that shifting back and forth under the other triangle. And then we just pitch for 75 knots.
Maintain 75 knots and climb to 5,500 feet.
That's a long, oh, we're already up there.
Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. That was a nice takeoff.
Could be better. See if we'll get an A. Let's see, landing, yoke management, throttle management, downwind. traffic pattern for solo flight. Okay, focus on the yoke. No need to use throttle or flaps. Oh. We look pretty high there.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast.
Yeah, the problem is...
Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
Problem is they started us on full throttle.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back.
Okay.
Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
We're gonna smack hard into the runway.
Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. Well done. But there's room for improvement.
Yeah, that's
Keep in mind that approaching the runway at the right speed is key to a good landing.
Yeah, but you lie. You don't need to do anything with the throttle. Here, let's descend to the runway on full throttle. Okay, let's try it this way.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
So I'm just pitching for 65 now. The throttle's not running this time.
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now, focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Oops, that was hard.
Nice. Now, apply the brakes progressively to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. Use rudder pedals to stay on the center line. That was excellent.
All right, throttle management. All right, let's see.
In the first part of this landing exercise, I want you to stay on the glide path by using the throttle. You can make small corrections with the yoke to stay aligned with the runway. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate. Now you can use the elevator to land.
I don't know why they would have you training on such a terrible approach. Like, we're way, way, way too high. Like, this is basically the same as the other one. You almost don't even want to use the throttle.
500.
Terrible job aligning with the runway, but...
Reduce throttle to idle.
Oh, it's been
Now,
idle the whole time.
focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now, apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
Oh, I'm a stopping. Squeak, squeak.
That was excellent.
Well, could have been more excellent. All right, downwind, follow traffic pattern. Let's see, if it were me in this phase, I would say match your throttle to this level. Like, you know, get the control inputs matching what the plane wants to have when you start up.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. We are passing the end of the runway, so go ahead and reduce RPM to 1700. It will help you to slow you down to 80 knots and begin your descent. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current speed.
Now see, it wants you to maintain 80, but we weren't on 80. And it's like, you need to be at 80 first. You need to get me started before the thing starts.
We will turn to the base leg when the end of the runway is at a 45-degree angle behind us.
This thing is not doing me a whole lot of favors at the moment.
Turn left onto the base leg.
way fast.
Try to keep our speed around 75 knots.
Would've
Keep
been
an eye on the runway
nice
as we
of
get
you to
ready
tell me
for our
that.
final turn. Turn left onto final. Make your left turn.
Of course,
Keep a
we're
stabilized
way too
approach
high.
with 65 knots airspeed and prepare for landing. Use throttle and flaps as required to adjust the glide slope.
We're way too high at 6,000. I don't think it's it's like it's not very good at telling you what to do here. Come screaming into the runway.
500.
And they also present like 6,000 as the standard pattern altitude, like you would enter all runways at 6,000 feet or something. No.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
Ugh. Wish this thing would stay where I
That
put it.
was a perfect traffic pattern execution. Well done.
Really? That was absolutely horrible. And the like the prep doesn't tell you anything. Like, here's what I'm gonna want you to do. So 80, 75, 65. We got an A anyway. It's terrible. Okay. So, 75 knots on the climb to 5,400 feet. Turn left to 6,000 feet. Turn left, maintain 6,000. So we're maintaining 75 and then we're reducing our speed to 80 knots. And then go 10 degrees flaps. And then turn inner base leg. Are they wanting you to only use 10 degrees of flaps on this? And then we want 65 knots on final. Okay. This is a cool little area. I've flown out of here before too. I don't remember where it is, but somewhere in Colorado maybe? No, not that.
It's
Ah.
time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground, in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal
Sedona,
is to
case
complete
says-
Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember everything we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side.
Okay. One thing it really needs to give you is the correct RPM settings for these, and it told me one in one of the other lessons. I don't remember what it was. But I guess let's run one and we can figure it out from there probably. Might have to run a second one to get a better score. Oh, my rudders keep hitting something down here on the leg of my table. Airspeed is alive and kicking. I think we want, what, 55 per rotate? And then we want to hold that until we get up to about 75. Doesn't want to reach even. And we want to climb to about 5,300. This said 5,400. Turn left, still climbing, holding 75 knots. Climbing to 6,000, 80 knots. Because we're going to level out, and then that's going to start accelerating us. And we want to just get to 80, and we want to stop climbing. That's too fast. Okay, so 2100, maybe? Then we want, so let's put this in. So that's 2100 RPM. And then let's bump that up a notch and get our flaps out. And that's gonna make us wanna climb. So I wanna fight that. We don't want that much power. And then what do we do? I'm gonna get some more flaps down, and I want to slow down to 65, and I want to start a little bit of a descent. $65, $65, $65. Oh, that was way too soon. There's 65, and we want to be dropping about 400 feet per minute. So let's call that, what, 1500? Now we're actually going to have to drop a little faster, so we want to drop some power out here.
$500.
All right, let's get ready to. Such a higher plane than I'm sort of used to. Oh, bumpy, 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 bumpy.
Wow, great job. You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
Language. Oof. Did not do well on the base leg. I will agree with that, I think. Could use some practice. But I think that's going to finish this off, at least with 100%. And then we need to do VFR navigation later. I've not done any gliding at all. It's funny that this is... I think it's because some of these tests are so messed up. Like, I don't know if you guys have done any of these, but like if you give these a try, like, I think this one is just crazy. Like, it draws these lines on the screen and it's like, hold it here, hold it there. And it is so ultra picky. I'll show you what I mean.
To help demonstrate pitch, I've drawn 3 lines on the windshield. Notice how the middle line matches the horizon while we're flying level? This is the cruise attitude. The lower dotted line is the climb attitude, and the upper one is the descent attitude. Let's dig deeper into what that means. Pull back gently on the yoke until the climb attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude.
Okay, see, it hasn't credited me with putting that on the horizon yet. Like where?
According to your altimeter, we're gaining altitude. But we're losing airspeed, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb. That's good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Now, let's level back out. Our speed is increasing and our altitude is stable.
One problem is the horizon
okay.
is here.
Push gently on the yoke until the descent attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude.
Dang it.
As expected, with a nose-down attitude, our altitude is decreasing while our speed is picking up. That's good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Okay, bring us back to level flight. Now your speed is decreasing and your altitude is stable. That's okay. I think a bit more practice may be a good idea. Try to make only small adjustments to your pitch to avoid overcorrection.
Like, it is so ultra picky, and this is like an super intro thing. Just get the line anywhere in the vicinity. And yet, I have, in these training sessions, I landed with my gear up and it gave me an A. See, look at this insanity. Like, how am I supposed to get an A when it's that frickin' strict? It's just ridiculous. And it's not on the horizon, it's on the, like, actual
to help
horizon
demonstrate pitch,
or something ridiculous.
I've drawn 3 lines on the windshield. Notice how the middle line matches the horizon while we're flying level? This is the cruise attitude. The lower dotted line is the climb attitude, and the upper one is the descent attitude. Let's dig deeper into what that means. Pull back gently on the yoke until the climb attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude.
See, that is nowhere near the horizon.
We're gaining altitude.
That's just insane.
But we're losing airspeed, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb.
I suppose if I go like this...
Excellent.
No, I can't go down any further than
That's
that.
good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Now, let's level back out. Our speed is increasing and our altitude is stable. All right. That's good. That's okay.
See, no matter
Push
what,
gently on
it's
the
like
yoke
you'll
until
get
the
better.
descent attitude line matches the horizon. Then maintain that attitude. As expected, with a nose-down attitude, our altitude is decreasing while our speed is picking up. Great. That's good. Keep working on it, you'll get better. Okay, bring us back to level flight. Now your speed is decreasing and your altitude is stable. Nice. That's good. That's okay.
See, it's just
That was excellent. Being able to maintain a precise and stable attitude is key to performing all types of maneuvers.
Let's see what we got this time. Hey, I did get an A this time. by putting the lines nowhere near where it said to do. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm gonna call it a night. Good night.